Hey, what's up? It's Joey here from Bulletproof for BJJ. Today I'm going to show you how to get strong for Jiu-Jitsu. Strength matters when you train Jiu-Jitsu. It helps to increase performance, but it also helps to reduce injuries and recover faster. So in that way, we want to have a regular strength training program that we're following while doing Jiu-Jitsu. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through 5 key strategies that you can follow to build more strength for Jiu-Jitsu. If you can master these 5 things, which are pretty simple, you will notice better performance on and off the mats. Now, before we jump into today's video, if you want help with your strength and mobility training, we have a program for you. It's called Bulletproof for BJJ. You can take a free trial. All you got to do is go to bulletproofforbjj.com, sign up for your free trial and use the code hard to kill, which will come up on the screen just here. Enter that and you'll get 15% off your first payment. First thing that I want you to focus on in your training is controlling the speed of your exercises. What we're talking about here is taking a nice controlled pace to our exercises, whether that's lifting a weight or performing a body weight exercise. Now there's a few key reasons for this. The first one is that most people who are new to strength training or not particularly experienced with it tend to move a little bit fast. When we move fast, we miss out on a few key things. Momentum takes away your ability to produce force. So while momentum is a fundamental part of human movement, it's not something that we want to rely on in the early days of strength training. So moving slow allows you to remove the momentum piece. The second part about it is that it's going to help to condition your connective tissue, so your tendons and ligaments. They are going to stay under load consistently throughout the entire repetition or the whole set. And obviously having strong connective tissue is beneficial for us as Jiu-Jitsu athletes. So this is a great benefit. Now the third thing here is that moving a little bit slower allows you to build better awareness of what your body is doing. So when you are new to this realm, or even if you have some experience, there is a skill component to becoming good at strength training. And we're training exercises. Sometimes that's the first time we've done such an exercise. We need time to practice that exercise and awareness in order to get better at it. And as we get better at it, we become stronger, our body starts to move better, and we notice it on the mats. So moving that little bit slower in your lifting is gonna help you to develop better body awareness. Second thing I wanna talk to you about is using a full range of motion in your exercises. So what does this mean? Well, range of motion just refers to how much of a particular joint we're expressing when we do an exercise. So as an example, if I'm doing an overhead press with my shoulder, this here might be considered a limited range of motion, whereas this here might be considered full range of motion. I'm opening that shoulder as far as I can into the overhead position, and then I'm bringing it all the way down. Now, why is it important for you to express full range of motion in your training? There's a few reasons for this. Your joints are going to become stronger by doing so because you're taking that joint from a completely closed to a completely open position. So if we think about that in terms of degrees, you're expressing the most amount of degrees you can. So your joints become stronger. The second part of that is that you're actually hitting more muscle in each repetition. Now that you're expressing the maximal amount of range in that joint, you are hitting your muscle through that full range. So that means that we get stronger as a result of that exercise. The third part is simply that you now make more gains from the same amount of input. So think of it this way. If I'm performing 3 sets of 10 of an overhead press, limited range like this, doing my bodybuilder reps, and then the next day I go for full range of motion, 3 sets of 10. If we're saying that each repetition on day 2 was perhaps 10 to 20% more range than the day before, I'm now doing 10 to 20% more work. So it allows you to get the most return on your time spent in the gym. It's also going to help you to increase your mobility. So there is a stretching element that's occurring when we're working to that full range. So not only are you getting stronger, you're also becoming more mobile. Now, here's one counterpoint to this. You can go too far, and what happens when you go too far is that you tend to sacrifice part of your technique in order to try and go deeper into the position. This becomes unsafe. We're not looking to move ourselves into a position that's unsafe. All we're looking to do is understand the movement that we're performing, and we want to perform that movement as intended to the deepest range that we can with control. Point number 3, I want you to stick to a program for a preset amount of time. Now, how much time? Here's a good rule of thumb for you. If you're starting off on your new training program, try and give it 3 months at a minimum. Why? Well, there's 2 parts that are important about following a program. The first is that there is an element of time in order for you to get good at anything. So when we start a program, we're learning new exercises, new formats. You need to allow yourself consistent effort on these same exercises for a period of time in order for yourself to develop that skill. Now, arguably, once you've developed the skill, that's when you can really start getting maximal gains, because then you can start getting heavier and harder on those exercises. So we have to acknowledge that there's a skill curve anytime we're in a training process, and following a program gives you time to get the most out of that skill curve and get the most out of the strength gains. The second part of it is that getting strong takes time and it takes repetition. So it's not about the workout that you're doing today or the crazy CrossFit workout that I did with my friend last week, because doing it once doesn't really do much for you. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. If you don't brush your teeth tonight and you go to bed, you're not going to wake up with holes in your teeth tomorrow. However, if you don't brush your teeth every night for the next 6 months, you're going to have a big dental bill at the end of the year. So strength training is no different. It's not about the one workout, it's about repeating that workout consistently over time. Now, of course, we don't want to do the same workout forever, because there is a point where you've kind of squeezed all of the juice from that program, which is the perfect time to switch to the next one. All right, so there is an end point to this. And if you've looked at our other strength videos, JT talks about that being one of the biggest mistakes he sees people making in the gym, is that they just do the same thing day in, day out for years on end. So if you jump on the Bulletproof program, you'll see that we break our training blocks into 6 to 8 week cycles. And what's really cool is if you commit to 12 weeks, you could do one 6-week block and then you could move to the next and complete that. So you would do 2 training blocks or cycles within 3 months. You don't have to follow our program, even if you're doing your own thing. Do the same thing for about 6 weeks, change it up a little bit, but keep the theme the same, and then go again. Try to hit 3 months. And at the end of that, if you've made gains, great, you can continue on in a similar kind of theme. And if you want to try something new, you've earned the right to do so. All right, point number 4. I want you to make it a little bit harder each week. What are we talking about here? In the strength world, we call this progressive overload. All this describes is the idea of progressively making the training sessions or the load a little bit harder. This is an essential component in order for you to become stronger. So you can increase the difficulty in a number of ways. You could increase the amount of repetitions you're doing, you could increase the number of sets you're doing, or you could leave those the same and you could just increase the weight or the difficulty of a given movement. Any of those 3 metrics, and arguably decreasing rest periods is also going to help with this, but changing any of those, just one of those metrics, is going to be giving you that element of increased difficulty. Now, I'm not saying that every set and every repetition of every exercise has to be harder from one week to the next, because there is a point that comes when you're a little bit more experienced with strength training where the gains don't come from workout to workout like that, and it might be something that comes from perhaps week to week, month to month, or for the super advanced athletes, year to year. But for the most part, we want to be looking to improve things or increase the difficulty slightly week to week. And if you can't, it's totally okay. Continue on as you did last week. But if you have that as a goal, that will be just a gentle driving force that's pushing you forward, and that's encouraging you to take your effort to that place where you need to be in order to get stronger as you progress through your program. Point number 5, about getting strong. I want you to sprinkle some mobility into the mix. So here's the deal. If we look at the strength training like a delicious meal, you've got the carbohydrate, you have the protein, and then you have a nice healthy serving of vegetables, maybe a salad, a little pickle on the side. We want to sprinkle the mobility on like a delicious hot sauce, or maybe it's salt and pepper, or whatever your preferred spice mix is. Working on mobility while working on your strength is important, because it's going to allow you to improve your range of motion. It's going to allow you to get into better positions progressively while also getting stronger. So the twofold benefit is, 1, you're becoming more flexible, but 2, it's happening while you're strength training. So it means that your strength training is then supporting this new range of motion that you're gradually developing, right? There is also a side to strength training that it can, in the short term, make us a little bit stiff and sore. So you might have noticed if you've done a bunch of push-ups or some Romanian deadlifts, you turn up to the gym the next day and your chest is a bit tight, your hamstrings are a bit tight. Obviously, moving and getting warm is going to help to reset you back to your baseline. But if you have a bit of mobility that you do before and after your session, it's just going to help to remove that so that you can perform at your optimal for that workout. And then the stretches that you do after training are just going to help to open you up even a little bit more, so the next day or on the mats that night at jiu-jitsu, you're moving even better. So a little bit of mobility helps us to get into better positions, which at the end of the day equals more gains and better movement on the mats. Now, our latest program at bulletproofofbjj.com actually incorporates mobility and strength into the one workout. You might have heard about it. This is our standards program, and we did this because we wanted to simplify the puzzle of getting strong and flexible for jiu-jitsu athletes who don't have a lot of time and just want to spend 2 or 3 days in the gym per week. So the standards program incorporates the two of them. If you do go over to the program, make sure you enter the code HARDTOKILL, which is here on the screen, and you get 15% off your first payment. All right, fam, there you have it. There's 5 strategies that are going to help you to get stronger, which is going to make you stronger on the mats, and it's going to help you to avoid injuries. If we can follow these concepts consistently over a long period of time, I guarantee you will get stronger. If you need any help with that, you've got us here on YouTube, you've got us on Instagram, you've got the program. Please comment below, like, subscribe, do all that so that you keep getting the updates. And hopefully we can continue to support you on your jiu-jitsu journey. Bigos.